will say, this is a slight spoiler. I like this one more than I thought I like this one better than I liked my pick.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, I thought it would be the other way around. I like this better than I liked my pick for this week.
Oh, okay.
You'll hear all about that in like a couple minutes.
I know.
He will. You guys might hear it in like a week or so.
Like maybe like
You'll
4
hear
or
it
5
a couple
days later
days.
from this, But...
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
All right. So today we watched New Jack City.
New Jack City, yes, we did. A Wesley Snipes movie, and Ice-T's in it. So's Chris Rock, which was a huge surprise for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's IMDb this thing. A crime lord ascends to power and becomes megalomaniacal while a maverick police detective vows to stop him.
Okay.
I clearly didn't read this before because I'm like, okay, SAT words coming in here. IMDb is normally not that clever.
Usually it's like barely a sentence we get from them,
Yeah. Now they're just really testing my vocabulary. I see how it is, IMDb. Sure. So, as always, we'll start off with the things that we liked about this movie.
Yeah, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I really liked... I mentioned Chris Rock. I liked his character and the whole arc that Pookie had, especially with the his end, his like cracked out of his mind scene, that sequence where they find out that he's a cop and they kill him and then the building's about to blow up and they have to defuse a bomb. That was just like a lot of tension, a lot of energy coming at you. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah, I really liked Wesley Snipes as the gangster. What was his name? I don't remember the name at all. Nino? Yeah.
I thought it was Nico. Oh, God.
I feel like it was an N. It was something Nino, but yeah, I really liked his character, and I thought he played it well. I think my favorite scene was the scene after they get busted, and he has all his people in that conference room, and he walks in with the dog, lets the dog go. Then starts skipping rope with the dog chain as he's questioning his men on what happened.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to stab the one guy's hand. But yeah, I just thought he was super believable as that kind of mob boss character. And
oh, it's Nino.
It is Nino. Okay, yeah.
It's Nino. Yeah. Sorry.
But
yeah, he played a really great mob boss. Yeah. The next scene I really liked the wedding scene shootout. That was hands down so great. Yeah. Every single part of it, even when the woman, that badass woman whose name I don't remember right now, she was so great, and she died in a blaze of glory. She shouldn't have died, but it was so good. A great shootout scene.
Yeah, that and Wesley Snipes using the baby as a shield.
I know, he used the kid as a human shield. Because at first I was like, does he know this kid?
Yeah.
I don't know, but then he was holding her up as a shield, and I was like, okay, man, that...
Then he left the kid to die. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the last scene I had, I like the that scene where he's walking the naked dude down the street with the gun just to be intimidating in the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, again, I just thought he just made such a good mob boss, and this scene had a lot of fun scenes like that and shootouts. So
yeah. I have two other bits because you said that was your last one, right?
Or no, I have one more. That was my last scene, but
Oh, okay. Well, then one of my other scenes that I liked was the first scene where they were dangling the guy over the bridge. It kind of just really set the tone to the movie, and you found out who that character was right away. You weren't ever I wonder if he's willing. No questions asked. You knew who he was. You knew what he was willing to do, and I thought that was a great setup for his entire character.
Yeah, definitely. I liked the ending of the movie. Just kind of seeing that dichotomy between the court's decision versus the court of public opinion, where Wesley Snipes or Nino got off, with only a year or something, but there's still so many people who just hated him because of what he was doing. And then there's
Yeah.
still like the whole aspect of, hey, like no one's growing this plant in Chicago or wherever they were. Like it has to be coming from somewhere. So I just
Yeah.
like how they kind of like tied that all together at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I had was the little montage where the men were singing around the trash can, and like you get to see the lay of the land of the housing complex that they took over, and just like I normally am not the big. I actually do like a montage in general, but like the ones we've seen have been very ineffectual. This one was very effective. I really liked it. And also, I don't know if it's just me, but it seemed as though a lot of songs in this movie had the words New Jack City in it. And I didn't know if that was a real thing or if, like, people just, like, made it around this movie. But I thought it just felt odd to me because New Jack City doesn't seem like a phrase that is, like, well known in songs. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because I also heard it in a couple of the songs too, and like maybe it's possible these songs were like written for the movie, or like maybe New Jack City, maybe saying New Jack City is like a term, like a phrase that's just gone out of use over the years, because this is like 30 years old now, so maybe, but yeah, I noticed that too. I did notice that as well.
But I noticed that and I was like, this doesn't. But the thing that got me was this movie doesn't strike me as a movie that had like a soundtrack like made for it. If that makes any sense. Like, there are some movies where it's like you can tell that the movie was based off of a soundtrack, or like the soundtrack was based off the movie. Like, they go hand in hand, like the Bodyguard soundtrack or something like that. But this one, I was like, they sure did find a lot of New Jack City songs in here. Where did those come from?
The only thing I said, maybe the budget was just kind of high for this movie, so they were like, might as well get some, because there was some pretty like big name actors in this one. So
yeah,
maybe that's it.
So. On to negatives if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, we can get into negatives.
All right.
Yeah,
you could go first.
Yeah, I can start. Yeah, I guess for me, the main thing, I thought there were like just way too many characters in this one, and it made some of the scenes just not hit as hard as they maybe should have. Like, you mentioned the girl dying during the wedding scene. Like, I almost didn't remember who she was. And same with the final scene of not the final scene, but Nino killing the other guy who maybe his brother GJ or
that was I think his right hand man though.
Yeah. No, I think it was too. Okay. But I don't know. I just thought there were like a lot of like side characters that like kind of had like sort of important roles. Like even the guy who shot him at the end, he was in like a couple scenes before, I think.
I think the most impactful scene that he was in was the one where he was like giving money to those kids for a reason that I don't know, and then he like that granddad or that like father figure and that old man, he came in and he was like, oh, stay away from him, you're killing our community. Then he pulls out a gun and he's like, we took it. Like, but then he comes back and kills him at the end, which our dad was like, that was back when you could bring guns to the courtroom, and I was like, why on earth would you be able to bring guns to a courtroom?
Yeah, that wasn't needed.
That makes literally no sense.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh my gosh, especially in cases like this, where like public opinion is so rampant in there. Like, you don't want people having guns in a courtroom, like, ever.
No.
Like, how many times did something like this happen that they were like, that's like the 5th guy who got killed today. Maybe we should stop this guns in a courtroom thing. Like,
yeah. And honestly, if you're in a courtroom and there's a gun, is it really a courtroom at that point? Because now, like, are you telling the truth or is there a gun pointed to your head? So
yeah.
But yeah, I just thought there were like a lot of like, I don't know. I felt like there were a lot of characters I had to get to know, and maybe it was me, but I feel like I didn't get to know them as well as I should have before they kind of had their key moment in the movie, No,
I could see that. One thing that I didn't like was the fact that Nino killed Appleton's mom. Like, that was the teacher that he happened to kill randomly to, like...
Oh, yeah.
Because remember he told that story about how he killed someone to, like, show that he was down with the cause or whatever, and it had to be, like, a random person, like, not anyone who was part of it, and he just killed a random school teacher. And then it turns out it was Appleton's mom, and I was like, I guess, but what a small world. I don't like that.
No, that was super red. I didn't like that at all, really. Like, that was an eye roll when he said that. When I was like, that was my mom. I was like, no way. Like, come on.
I think I audibly said, when that happened, I was like, oh yeah, I guess his mom was a school. I guess he did say that his mom was killed by a gang member. That's why he's like on the force or whatever. But I was like, I don't like how you guys did this. Like, let's not next time.
Let's see. I don't know if I had anything else specific. Yeah, I'm gonna keep thinking. Cause
I had one other critique because again, I didn't have too many about this movie, but I think for me, I would have preferred if they started at the point of the 3-year time jump instead of before it, only because the before time was just so short. It didn't. It's kind of those things where it's like, oh, where it's like 3 years later, and it's like, but like we didn't do too much in that time here. Like the time before it was maybe like not even 10 minutes. So I didn't understand why we didn't just start at the 3 years later mark. And I feel as though we could have like gotten all that other information that they gave us in the beginning from context. Like Pookie didn't even really need an intense introduction or anything like that. Like, no. He tried to short Ice-T's character and got shot in the ankle. Like,
yeah.
we didn't need a whole extra thing of that. But I think that we could have just started at the 3 years time part. That's just a personal preference thing.
Yeah, I'd actually agree with that too, because I thought, in addition to like having too many characters, I thought it was like, it felt just a little crowded, you know, and I think like those, especially those beginning scenes, again, like they didn't really add too much to the movie, and there was like a lot that happens in this movie. Like I want to say there's like at least three shootouts that happen, you know, in this movie, so like there was a lot in that kind of like post 3-year mark, and I think, I don't know, focusing on that, you could have, I don't know, like, I don't know what they would have done differently, but I do agree that that pre-3-year didn't add too much to the story. You know? Especially for like an already kind of crowded film. But
yeah, that's why to me it just didn't make sense to have it like that. Just because it's not like it happened in the middle of the movie or close to the end where we're like figuring out where the characters are now. And we're not even like seeing him build up his empire. It's kind of just like, the Empire's here. He's the baddest bitch in the land. Let's keep going. And it's like, well, we could just start at that point. We don't need to start with him saying, I'm going to make this a complex and da-da-da-da-da. Because, like, he didn't even struggle doing that. And I think that when you're, like, he just kind of did it and was like, and this is now how it is. So it's like, why couldn't we just start at the this is now how it is part and then keep going from there?
Yeah.
But that's just personal preference. Some people like a time jump or whatever.
All right, are we ready for ratings?
Yes, I am.
Guess you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I'll start it off. Okay. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. While this definitely isn't my favorite movie, I still found it, for the most part, very entertaining. It almost felt a bit old school gangster, like 20s, like almost mafia, like Al Capone-esque. In a way, even though this takes place in the 80s. And I think that is because, as I've said in a previous episode, I like seeing the perspective of the head of the drug ring instead of the underlings. That's what makes it kind of like more, I guess, slick and kind of like higher stakes in a way. Because you're with like the big guy who has the most to lose, who has like the question of like all the people under him, like, are they really my friend? Are they really my foe? Da 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 da. All that kind of things. Whereas if you just get like a random drug dealer on the street, you kind of just like don't really have the same kind of the same drama in it. And I don't tend to like that drama in theirs as much as the head guy. So yeah, that's why. But it was pretty good for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, I gave this one a 3 stars. I enjoyed it as well. It was just like kind of a pretty fun, like, again, like you said, like a fun mafia movie. And we got it from that like kind of like head honcho's point of view, and Wesley Snipes played that role well, you know, and so that made the movie that much more enjoyable. I thought there were like a lot of like good scenes in this one. Like all the shootouts were like pretty fun to watch. Again, I had mentioned like those scenes of Wesley Snipes just kind of being a badass and like being that kind of mob boss, intimidating people. So it just had a lot of moments like that, and it was a pretty easy watch as well. Like I thought it was gonna be a lot sadder, or like, you know, some of these movies kind of get, you're like, there's some like murder at the end and you're like crying, you know, but that wasn't this one. This was like, I don't know, just fun from start to finish. So 3 stars for this one.
This isn't what I thought the movie would be from reading like the little blurb on it. Not even the IMDb, but when I first read it. to find it.
not
I
at
was like,
all.
oh,
Not at all.
interesting. But yeah. So, final question. Do you wish you saw this sooner?
This one I wrote no, but I'm actually gonna change it to a slight yes.
Okay.
I thought this one had a lot of like you mentioned. I don't know if you mentioned this in the video or before the video that our dad was like quoting this one, but there were actually like several quotes and like scenes I had like heard before, and it was nice to kind of see it in the movie. Like even like Chris Rock being Pookie, like I feel like that's something I've just kind of has been in my head for a while, and like seeing where it comes from, it's like, oh, I see now. And I think there were like a few other kind of lines that I've like heard before and was like, oh, you know, like that's where this is from. So yeah, it was kind of nice to have those kind of connections, and so that was kind of why I said yes for this one. But
yeah, you kind of inspired me to change my answer because I also had no.
Yeah.
But I'll say like a soft yes, not too much earlier, because I actually can't think of a reason to need to have seen this earlier. But yeah, this was just a pretty fun movie, and I might watch this again. Not anytime soon, because I'm not a quick movie watcher in general.
Yeah.
But I think I would even see this movie again, and I would have liked to have seen this just like even slightly sooner. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I missed it like 10 years ago. Like, no, it could be like a couple of months or something.
Yeah, no, for me, if nothing else, this is definitely in that, like, I wish we watched this earlier in the Black-Catch-Up kind of series.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a few movies that have been in that category. This one's, like, firmly in there for me.
Yeah. When we were making our first initial list, could have definitely put this in there.
But, yeah, that was New Jack City.
Yes.
So, YouTube housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below. And we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye. I didn't like the coincidence of him being the one who killed Appleton's mom.
I forgot. That was so bad at the end. They just shoved that in there for no reason, too. Because even watching that scene, I was like, I thought he was going to say it was his mom he killed. Because there's a song, I don't remember who the song is by, or it's like some rap song, some like hardcore rap song about like, oh, he has to like, you know, they just tell him, oh, kill the next person you see kind of thing. And he does it. And then he like uncovers the body and it's his mom. Like his own mom.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be that. But then, like, it was just, like, some random story. I was like, all right, whatever, throwaway story. And then it comes back, like, not even 20 minutes later, like, aha, that was my mom. And I'm like, no. Could have just been a random school teacher lady. Like, that story was pointless. Now it's not pointless, you know?
I was like, ugh.
And it's like, how do you even know that? You know, like, how do you even, like, because, like, why would you tell him that story? And, like, why would he, like, be able to connect those dots? Like, you know, like, did he already know that? It just brought up so many questions that I didn't even want the answer to, you know?